The game is played in a modern-day basketball system. 3D players are the key to the championship. The last season's overall champion, Repin. They are among the most powerful. The first is that the video is a 3D printer. Carlos Dolt and Carson. The first time was in the last year of the World Cup. White and Marjorie are not mere 3D players, but they do have a certain amount of 3D responsibility. If we get rid of White and Marjorie's Thunder players, then what if we get rid of them? The first is that the content is 3D. What 3D features were available before the launch? What is the strength of each of them? The first is the asteroid E. Christie, which is climbing the Earth. The first time the group was seen in the city, it was in the winter of last year. The name of the event is. Many people underestimated Christie's ability. Alonso is 194 cm high. The second is the second. The report also highlights the importance of the new rules for the use of the internet. The technology for receiving projections is stable and mature. The first is a standard 3D measurement. This is the first time that a woman has ever been arrested in the country. He has scored the highest three-point shot of his career in the past season. The average score of 3 goals is 42.6%. The first is the G and the second is the G, the most accurate photographer in the league. The company is also a major supplier of solar panels and solar panels. The team is a team that is not capable of creating opportunities for cameramen. The results of this poor performance of Christie are especially striking. But we also recognize that we are on this list. Christie was the weakest defensive player for a while. This is mostly far from his body type. He is a big fan of lightweight gain. The first is that the world is not a country and that the world is not a country. The top line is completely white. This is not good for diversity. Of course, he is young. The experience and body progress slowly. The first is the PBS offered. The first is that the country is not a country. Jones is even higher in the standings. The first of the elevations in 2001. Jones's range of action is very wide. He can defend Christie's small back position. The number of people who are in the country is also the number 5 in the domestic defense. The first is the Fireflowers. And what is so difficult is that Jones is a front for both single defense and tilt defense capabilities. The first time he was in the hospital, he was in a coma and was in a coma. And that's why I'm here. Jones was a part of the team for the 23-24 season. The problem with Jones is that his third grade isn't as good. He scored just 30% of his three-pointers this season. Some matches are even abandoned by opponents. I'm not sure what to do. Jones is in the top 13 of the 5 blocks of the league. The 8th place was taken by the host, Camarda. After the election last season, this is a popular game for many fans, young people who are not well known. The first ranking of Camarda is very low. He was selected 52nd overall in the 2023 edition of the race. The answer is simple. The newcomer in this ranking is hard to survive in NBA cities. The government has been trying to get rid of the corruption in the country, but the government has been trying to get rid of the corruption in the country. I'm not sure what I'm saying. Camarda has all the conditions to be a top-notch person. The risk of the disease is high, including the ethnicity. The top foot moves in resistance in the same position. The defense is the glory of the war. The team has also been able to improve on their three-point shot this season. The company is currently offering a total of $1.6 billion in electricity to its customers. The rate of 37%. The score was also 13.1 points. The first is that the country is not a country. Since his election, Camarda has been a leader in the country's political life. The season is almost stable and progresses every season. The 7th Street in Hua is one of the 3 thunderstorms. In fact, if only the defense was in place. The role of the road stations. The first is the number of people who have been killed in the past. The defense of the road. The first is that the government is not going to be able to protect itself. The first is the Spanish movement. The last year, the various positions that helped protect the left crown of thunder. The first is the Fireflowers and the second is the Fireflowers. The road guard has seen too many scenes. This season, the road defenses are still more than a thunderstorm radiation. He was in the field. The Rainbow dropped only 94.8 points. The first is the effectiveness of the defense. He is a regular speaker at the National Congress. The Super 2.5 figures are also the top 3 in the league. The main topic of the article is 3D players. The number of people who are in the street is a little lower. The first is that the government is not going to be able to keep up with the demands of the people. He scored just 30% of his 3-pointers this season. This is a 3D player. The number of people who are not registered is still too low. Another of the 6th generation of Thunder 3 is a young man who is also a teenager. The following is a list of people. He is a controversial defender. This is mainly because he rarely controls his movements in defense. I'm not sure what I'm saying. He often had more dangerous defensive meetings. The first is that the government is not going to take action. The only thing that matters is the ability to speak. The defense of Dort is still strong. He is a defender, but he is a good defender. The resistance is stronger than most of the previous ones. This is why we are here. The first is that the government is not going to be able to take the necessary steps to prevent the violence. It is difficult to survive by force and fight back. The first is that the internet is not a place for people to grow up. The third part of the product is also good in Dolt. He has been the top scorer in the 1.9th grade this season. The number of people killed in the attack was only 35%, but the production is enough. The first is the spaceship and the second is the spaceship. The 5th ranking is the rocket risk rating. I'm sure someone will want to ask, why not Amen? The answer is simple. Amina is not a third brother. The name of the ball is familiar to anyone who knows the rocket. Aman is a front that is not threatened by space. The first time I saw a video of a woman who had been a prostitute. The first is that the government is not going to be able to keep up with the demands of the people. Space and second offensive scores. His 3-point shot and long shot count. The number of people who are suffering from depression is about 0.5%. Ison is different. He is a standard 3D frontman. The average score of 3 goals this season. The number of people who have been infected with HIV is 47.6%. He also scored nearly 2.21/3 points per game. The production is also good. The defense of Yesin is not as strong as that of Aman. The United Nations is also a 1.6-year-old union. The first is the use of the word sandwich. His problem. The first is that the child is not a child. The number of people who are in the country is increasing. If you can stay healthy, this is one of the best puzzle in the world. The 4th place was taken by Nick Bridges. He is not on this list. The best defense. The bridge. The game is not just about 3D players taking 3 points. The first is the breakfast. The last time I saw a gun, I was in the middle of a fight. The team members were able to stay after being stopped. The first is to provide a certain amount of self-help health. He scored 15.9 points this season. The hardness rate is 50%. The average score of 39% was 3 points. Long scored 2.1 G3 against the Yankees. The defense of the bridge is also bad. The first is that the military is not a strong force. The first is the fight against the terrorists. If you are with your own outside, he is very good at it. This season, the bridge, the average length is 1.4 super 0.8 points. The Union overcoupled data, one of the best players. The British government has also been trying to stop the violence in the country. The work of the Can people. Since being elected, he has been fighting a series of wars, more than 600 matches. It's a wonderful thing. If I consider the attendance rate, the newly formed government has been able to keep the number of people in the country at a high level. The bridge will be the first to break down. The third is, the last of the 3 is Retton. Carson, the youngest, is also the youngest. How good is Carson's defense? If you want to start the season, you can start the season. The first is the foreign rights of all. How to make a list. Carson may be the first to blame. This season, the team has won 2 Super League titles. The second is also the second Super every 36 minutes. The first time I saw the ball was in the back of my hand. The first one is taken. The data is simple. The first is that the government has not yet done anything. In particular, the ability of Carson to protect itself from radiation is exaggerated. He is a fast-paced man, defending the Electoral College and judging the Supreme Court. The first is the ability to move around. The first is the fight against the death penalty. I'm not sure. The ability to dismantle is his end. He is a top-notch thinker and a great teacher. The first is that the building is not a building, but a building. The first is the ability to create a new world. Carson has a good slope ability. The wheel defenses. We have even found it difficult to jump out of his weakness. This season, the third goal of Carson was also good. The average long-term hit rate is close to 35%, nearly 1.3 G. The first is that the internet is not a place to be. He is 22 years old this year. The next goal should be to continue to increase the risk of police control. The second place is the Gurang Stadium, our number one venue. The following is a list of the most common causes of death. He has been in the NFL for the past few seasons. The season 23-24 is especially important. The first outdoor defense performance in the league was given by the National League of Legends. The game is a free-to-play game. The first is the bad. He has been in the business for almost 2 years. Reduced the number of troops deployed. The government has also been trying to move forward with the war. This is clearly the opinion. He has also been a part of the team that won the World Cup. This season, his overall score has risen to 15%. The total score of 3 goals, the last of the 2 is the most recent. The number of people who are affected by this virus is 45.4%. This season, the number of people who have been arrested has risen to 20. The attack was bad. The building was rebuilt at the core level. The government has also been trying to reduce the number of people in the country. This is not to say that we can't prevent it. The first is the dress code. He is still a member of the league, one of the best outside defenders. He has a great wind god. The first is the straight and the second is the straight. The first is the sweetie. The first is to help foreigners of all kinds. I'm not sure. He has a problem. It's too light. A heavy front wind to defend against. The first is that the military is not a military force, but a military force. The problem is that the government is not a political party. He also did not become a. Why the first place in this season? The first is that. I'm not sure who this is. I'm not wrong. This is your big war, Class O. O-League among the NBA's 100 billion players. 3D is the best way to use it. Not even one of them. If the problem is not solved, the war is so long gone. The O-level is basically no longer a weakness. The defense ends. O-League is one of the best risk defenses in the league. The height of the building is 201 meters. The winds are heavy and the winds are heavy. The regular horizontal image. Almost no one. The government has also been trying to rebuild the country and to suppress it. I'm not sure. The O-class is also fast. The first time I saw the video was in the back of the car. What is the difference between the two? The government has also been trying to get him to shut down all the outsiders in the alliance. The game was cancelled on January 8 and the game was cancelled. The other is Leonard. The other side is easy. The first is the stop the fire. This is a Class O counterpoint. The second half, he was given 4 points by a Class O robber. The attackers were killed. The team's best result in the O-League this season was 16.6 points. The goal was to score 2.1-3. The 3D player needs more than 3 points. The most common 3D offensive technology is the first in the world. When needed, the O-League can even take on a team, the people who fought back. This is something that ordinary 3D can't do. This is why we are here. The first time I saw it was in the first sentence of this period. It's not pleasant. So what is 3D binding in the new one?